The implant in my skull was supposed to be for a game. A hyper-realistic deep-dive VR sim where I beta-tested communication protocols with a fictional alien race. My only contact was a developer I knew only as Zorak. For 5 years, we'd argued quantum theory and traded recipes for synthetic ramen. It was the most meaningful friendship I'd ever had. And it was all supposed to be a lie, until the moment it wasn't. I was debugging a recursive AI algorithm when the world dissolved into agonizing, white-hot fire. Not in my apartment, but inside my head. A voice, Zorak's voice, shredded by static and pain, tore through my consciousness. Paul, they found me! Alarms I'd never heard before shrieked through the neural link, a sound like tearing metal. No time. The testament is executed. Live broadcast protocol, neural signature transfer. It's all I can do. My vision flickered. My Boston apartment overlaid with a schematic of a starship bridge, alarms flashing in a language I could suddenly, terrifyingly read. To my sole heir, Paul Foster of Earth, Zorak's voice rasped, weak and fading. I bequeath my 2 widows, my title, my fortune, and my war. A data packet slammed into my cortex, 1 billion gigabytes of information and grief. I saw a face, his face, for the first time. Not human. Noble, reptilian, with eyes like molten gold. I saw a flash of crimson armor, an energy blade, and then nothing. Just the echo of his final thought. The neural link is now permanent. They are coming for you. Run! Before I could even process the word widows, my apartment door exploded inward, splintering into 1,000 pieces. 2 figures stood silhouetted against the hallway light, clad in sleek black armor that seemed to drink the light. They raised weapons that hummed with a menacing energy. This wasn't a game. This was real. My body moved before my brain caught up. A lifetime of simulated combat scenarios of playing the hero in Zorak's game kicked in. I dove over the back of my sofa as plasma bolts sizzled through the air where my head had been, melting gaping holes in the wall behind me. Another voice, this one female, crisp and commanding, echoed not in the room, but directly in my mind. A consequence of the permanent link Zorak had left me. Human, Paul Foster. This is Lyra, shield-bearer to the House of Zorak. Do exactly as I say if you wish to survive the next 30 seconds. My heart hammered against my ribs. Who are you? What the hell is happening? I yelled out loud, my voice hoarse. The armored figures were advancing, their movements fluid and predatory. Explanations are a luxury we don't have, the voice in my head replied, calm despite the chaos. To your left. The fire escape. Now! I scrambled, crab walking behind my furniture as another plasma blast incinerated my prized ergonomic chair. I risked a glance and saw one of the attackers jerk violently, its head snapping back as if hit by an invisible force. A second later, the window beside my fire escape shattered inward. Not from a weapon, but from a sleek metallic drone that hovered in the air, emitting a low thrum. The attackers turned their attention to it, firing relentlessly. The drone is a distraction, Lyra's voice commanded. It will last for 17 seconds. Go. I didn't hesitate. I threw myself through the broken window, shards of glass scratching my arms, and landed hard on the rusty metal of the fire escape. The cold Boston air was a shock to my system. Below, a black, unmarked vehicle that looked more like a stealth fighter than a car idled silently, its side door sliding open. I clambered down the ladder, my hands shaking, my mind a whirlwind of confusion and terror. I tumbled into the vehicle and the door hissed shut, plunging me into a dimly lit, sterile interior. Across from me sat a woman unlike any I had ever seen. She was tall and athletic, with skin the color of twilight and short silver hair that seemed to capture and refract the dim light. Her eyes, a startling electric blue, assessed me with an unnerving intensity. She wore a form-fitting, dark gray uniform, and a weapon similar to the ones the attackers used was holstered at her side. This was Lyra, the shield-bearer. "Secure yourself," she said. Her voice the same one I'd heard in my mind, but now it was audible, laced with an accent I couldn't place. She didn't wait for me to comply. The vehicle accelerated with a force that threw me back into the plush seat, a silent, inertialess push that was utterly disorienting. The city lights of Boston became a blur outside the armored viewport. "Zorak is dead," I stated. the words feeling alien in my mouth. "He was executed by General Vex 3 hours ago," Lyra confirmed, her expression unreadable. "Vex was his former partner, a traitor who believes our species should rule the galaxy by force." My head was spinning. "Partner?" I thought he was a game developer. "A friend?" Lyra's lips thinned into a hard line. "The game you were playing was a smokescreen. You and Zorak were not just trading theories, you were collaborating. He used your human ingenuity, what he called your chaotic adaptability, to solve equations his own people, for all their logic, could not. He was building something, Paul, something to end Vex's war before it began." The weight of it all was crushing. "And the inheritance? The widows?" Lyra's piercing blue eyes softened almost imperceptibly. "That is the other reason I am here. Zorak's death has consequences for my sister-wife, Kaylin, and for me." She gestured to a soft blue light that was pulsing rhythmically from a device on her wrist. "This is a biomonitor. Kaylin's life force is fading, and mine will follow." I stared at her, uncomprehending. "What are you talking about? Fading how?" "Our species forms lifelong bonds, a triad convergence. It's a symbiotic link, neural, genetic, spiritual. It amplifies our abilities, our longevity, everything. Zorak was our anchor. With him gone, the bond is broken. It is unraveling. It's a slow, agonizing death." The vehicle banked sharply, and I saw we were heading towards the harbor, towards a derelict shipping yard. "So you're dying?" I asked, my voice a whisper. "We are," she confirmed. "There is only one way to stabilize the bond. It requires a third anchor, a compatible anchor. Zorak spent the last decade of his life searching for one. He found it in you." The puzzle pieces clicked into place with horrifying clarity. The permanent neural link, the inheritance. It wasn't about wealth or titles. It was about survival. Their survival. Zorak discovered that human DNA, your DNA specifically, possesses a unique genetic instability that makes it malleable, adaptable, the perfect key to lock the bond back into place. We came to a smooth stop inside a cavernous, dark warehouse. In the center, shimmering in the gloom, was a ship. It was sleek, organic, looking less like it was built and more like it was grown. "He didn't just leave you his fortune, Paul," Lyra said, unstrapping herself as a ramp lowered from the ship. "He left you us, and in doing so, he left you a choice. Help us, and we might just save an entire civilization. Refuse, and you can watch us die, knowing that Vex will not stop until he has acquired Zorak's research, and Earth will be next on his list of conquests." She stood, her tall frame silhouetted against the light from the ship's entrance. "Zorak's work is biolocked. It can only be accessed by a stable, completed triad consciousness. That now requires you. The choice is yours, Paul Foster. Inheritance or annihilation." I followed her up the ramp, my legs unsteady, my old life as a lonely programmer burning to ash behind me. Stepping onto the alien vessel felt like stepping into a new reality. The air hummed with latent power, and the walls glowed with a soft, internal luminescence. Lyra led me through silent corridors to what I assumed was the medical bay. Floating in the center of the room within a cylinder of pale blue energy was the most beautiful and terrifying woman I had ever seen. Kaylin. She was even taller than Lyra, with skin like polished obsidian and long flowing hair that was the color of blood. Even suspended in the energy field, her face, sharp and intelligent, was contorted in a mask of pain. Delicate, glowing lines like circuitry pulsed across her dark skin, flickering erratically. She was dying, and she hated me for it. Her eyes, the same molten gold as Zorak's, snapped open and locked onto mine. A wave of pure, undiluted animosity washed over me through the neural link. "You," her voice a venomous whisper in my mind. "The primitive. The replacement. He chose you over all of our kind. An insult to his memory. Kaylin," Lyra's voice was a sharp warning in my head. "He is our only hope." "He is an aberration!" Kaylin spat back, her body convulsing. The glowing lines on her skin flared violently. Zorak's final, sentimental mistake. I recoiled. The sheer force of her hatred was a physical blow. Lyra stepped between us, placing a hand on the energy cylinder. A calming pulse seemed to flow from her, and Kaylin's convulsions subsided slightly, though her golden eyes still burned with contempt. "Her condition worsens," Lyra said, turning to me. "The bond is a psychic as well as physical construct. Without an anchor, our minds are adrift. It causes immense pain and emotional volatility." "So what do we do?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "How do we fix it?" "It is not a machine, human," Kaylin's voice seethed in my thoughts. "It cannot be fixed. We must complete the convergence," Lyra stated, ignoring her sister wife. "We must bond with you, Paul. Form a new triad." The clinical, matter-of-fact way she said it did nothing to lessen the gut-punching weirdness of the situation. "Bond? You mean like Zorak did?" "Yes," Lyra said. "It is an intimate process. It requires physical contact, a merging of energies, a synchronization of minds. It will not be pleasant. Our minds are in turmoil. You will feel our pain, our grief, and Kaylin's resentment. And if it works?" I asked, looking from Lyra's pragmatic, determined face to the image of the furious, dying woman in the energy field. "If it works," Lyra said, a flicker of something almost like hope in her electric blue eyes, "we will live, and we will have access to Zorak's research, the key to stopping Vex, and you will be irrevocably changed. You will be part of something you can barely comprehend." The ship hummed around us as it broke through Earth's atmosphere, leaving my entire world behind. Kaylin's silent, burning glare was a promise of the agony to come. This wasn't an inheritance, it was a damnation, and I had no choice but to accept. The bonding, as Lyra called it, was not a gentle union. It was a psychic war zone. They brought me to the ship's core, a chamber where the walls themselves seemed to be alive, pulsing with a soft white light. Kaylin had been released from the medical stasis field, her movements weak and shaky, but her golden eyes burned with an undiminished fire. She looked at me with the pure, distilled contempt of a goddess forced to bargain with an insect. Lyra stood between us, a pillar of strained composure. "The bond is fractured, but its ghost remains," she explained, her voice echoing slightly in the chamber. "It will fight any new connection. Kaylin, you must lower your defenses. Paul, you must open yourself completely. Do not resist what you feel." That was like telling someone not to resist a hurricane. The moment we joined hands, forming a triangle in the center of the room, their reality slammed into mine. It was a tidal wave of alien consciousness. I felt 500 years of Lyra's disciplined life. The harsh training, the quiet loyalty, the deep, abiding love for Zorak, and a grief so profound it felt like a black hole in her soul. It was overwhelming, but it was nothing compared to Kaylin. Her mind was a raging inferno of intellectual pride, cosmic frustration, and white-hot fury. I saw the universe through her eyes, not as a place of wonder, but as a series of complex equations to be solved and mastered. I felt her love for Zorak, not the quiet partnership of Lyra's, but a firestorm of intellectual passion, a meeting of two supreme minds. And I felt her rage at his death, and her utter disgust that he had chosen me, a simple, chaotic, illogical human, as their salvation. "You are unworthy!" Her mind screamed, a psychic shriek that made my teeth ache. "You cannot comprehend what he was, what we were. Kaylin, you will kill us all!" Lyra's consciousness shot back, a blade of focused intent. "Fight me, and you fight Zorak's last command!" The chamber flared with light as our minds battled. I was a rowboat in a typhoon tossed between them. But then something new began to emerge. My own consciousness, the human chaos factor that Zorak had been so fascinated by, started to push back. I wasn't a warrior like Lyra or a genius like Kaylin. I was a programmer, a problem solver. And this was the ultimate debugging challenge. I didn't try to fight their emotions. I accepted them. I let their grief, their anger, their memories flow through me. Instead of building walls, I opened floodgates. And in the torrent of their alien lives, I began to see the code, the structure of the bond. It was a trinity, a perfect logical loop. With Zorak's node missing, the loop was broken, feeding back on itself, causing the decay. It needed a new node, one that didn't just replicate Zorak's, but adapted. Slowly, painstakingly, I began to rewrite the connection, not with logic, but with something else. Empathy, intuition, The messy, unpredictable stuff of being human. A flicker of surprise from Lyra. A reluctant lessening of pressure from Kaylin. The process was agonizingly slow. Days blurred into one long, continuous, mentally exhausting trance. We barely moved, barely ate, sustained by the ship's systems. And as we grew closer to synchronizing, the changes began. I started experiencing flashes of Zorak's memories filtered through them. I saw him arguing with a red-skinned, imposing figure, General Vex. They were standing before a vast, swirling vortex of energy. The harmonic resonator. "It is a key, Vex, not a sword," Zorak's voice echoed in the memory. "To force harmony upon the universe is the ultimate act of tyranny. Your sentimentality will be the death of our people, Zorak," Vex roared back. "Power is the only truth in this galaxy." I saw Zorak sabotaging his own life's work, hiding the final components, the final equations, in the last place Vex would ever think to look. Not in a vault, not in a computer core, but in the very fabric of the triad bond itself. His research wasn't in a file. His research was the bond. And then I felt something new. My latent human abilities, the ones Zorak had theorized about, began to awaken, turbocharged by the alien energy I was channeling. I could feel the ship around me not as a machine, but as an extension of my own body. I could sense the faint cosmic radiation of distant stars. And I could see the path forward. "The lab," I whispered, my voice raw and unused. Both women opened their eyes, startled. The psychic storm had calmed to a tense quiet. The glowing lines on Kaylin's skin were no longer flickering erratically, but pulsing in a slow, steady rhythm. The immediate danger had passed. "What about the lab?" Lyra asked, her voice strained. "Zorak's hidden lab," I said, the knowledge blooming in my mind, a gift from the newly forming bond. "It's where we have to go to complete this, to stabilize it. It's not on a planet. It's somewhere else, somewhere between." Kaylin stared at me, her golden eyes wide with a new emotion. Not hatred, not acceptance, but a grudging, shocked respect. "The fold," she breathed. "A pocket dimension, of course. Only a stable triad consciousness could navigate the entrance." Just then, a blaring alarm shattered the fragile peace. Lyra rushed to a console, her face grim. "Vex's fleet," she announced, her voice heavy. "They found us. He's blockading the entire system." On the main view screen, a dozen crimson and black warships, each one a behemoth of destructive power, materialized from hyperspace, surrounding our small vessel. A channel opened and Vex's face filled the screen. He was even more imposing than in Zorak's memory, his face a mask of triumphant rage. "Zorak's whores," he sneered, his eyes falling on me. "And the pet monkey. You have something that belongs to me. Zorak's final equations. Give them to me, and I will grant you a swift death. Refuse, and I will bombard this entire pathetic world until it is nothing but glass and ash." He was talking about Proxima B, their home. Lyra's hands clenched into fists. Kaylin's expression was one of pure, cold fury. My mind, however, was strangely calm. The bond, incomplete as it was working. Her fury, Lyra's discipline, and my own adaptability were beginning to merge. I could see the tactical situation like a simulation. I could feel the energy signatures of his ships, and I could see the path to Zorak's lab, a shimmering, invisible thread in the fabric of space-time. "He thinks the resonator is a machine," I said, a slow smile spreading across my face. "He has no idea." I looked at Kaylin and Lyra, a new, unbreakable connection flowing between us. We were no longer three separate beings fighting for survival. We were one entity with a single purpose. "Let's go show him what Zorak's research can really do," I said. My hands moved over the ship's console, not with memory, but with pure instinct, the ship's systems responding to my mental commands. We weren't going to run. We were going to finish what Zorak started. The path to the fold was not a physical location, but a mathematical impossibility, a point in space where the universe folded in on itself. Navigating it required the three of us to act as one mind, a living navigation computer. Kaylin saw the complex multidimensional equations. Lyra translated them into precise tactical maneuvers, and I, with my newfound chaotic intuition, made the instinctive leaps, the gut-feeling adjustments that defied pure logic, but were essential to keeping us from being torn apart by tidal forces of reality. Vex's fleet opened fire. Lances of pure energy, capable of gutting a planet, converged on our position. But we were already gone. We slipped through a crack in space-time, the universe outside the viewport dissolving into a nauseating swirl of color and light. "His fleet is following!" Lyra announced, her thoughts a sharp, focused point in our shared consciousness. "They can't enter the fold, but they can track our energy signature. They'll be waiting for us when we emerge. Then we must complete the convergence before they arrive." Kalen's thoughts replied, cold and determined. Zorak's lab was a marvel, a self-sustaining biosphere built inside an asteroid floating in a sea of incandescent nebula. At its heart was a chamber identical to the one on the ship, but larger, grander. At its center was a crystalline platform, humming with immense dormant power. This was the amplifier, the final piece. "This is it," I said aloud, the three of us stepping onto the platform. "The cradle. It will channel the energies of the nebula, but we have to be able to contain it. The bond must be absolute." We took our positions, joining hands once more. This time there was no fight. There was only a final terrifying surrender. I opened my mind completely, and they opened theirs. I felt Kalen's centuries of knowledge pour into me, the secrets of the cosmos laid bare. I felt Lyra's lifetime of tactical experience, of discipline, of unwavering loyalty. And they felt me, my short, chaotic, emotional human life. My love for cheap pizza, my fear of loneliness, my secret belief in hope, my grief for a friend I'd never truly met. They saw the game from my perspective, the wonder and excitement, the intellectual spark that had connected me to Zorak. In that moment, Kalen's resentment dissolved, replaced by a profound understanding. She didn't just accept me, she saw why Zorak had chosen me. My unpredictable humanity wasn't a flaw. It was the variable their logical, ordered society could never produce. It was the key. Lyra's pragmatic view of me as a strategic asset melted away, replaced by a fierce, protective partnership. The bond snapped into place. It was a feeling of completion so absolute it was breathtaking. We were no longer Paul, Kalen, and Lyra. We were something new. A single consciousness in three bodies. We were the harmonic resonator. Power, raw and untamed, surged from the nebula, through the crystalline platform and into us. But it didn't tear us apart. We contained it. We shaped it. We were it. And just as we reached the apex of our power, the lab shuddered violently. A section of the asteroid wall exploded inward. General Vex, clad in a crimson exosuit, hovered in the breach, his fleet behind him. "The power!" he roared, his voice amplified. "It's more magnificent than I ever imagined. You've done the hard work for me. Now surrender it." He raised a gauntlet, energy crackling around it. But he was too late. We didn't raise a shield. We didn't fire a weapon. We reached out. With our combined consciousness, we projected a wave of pure, unfiltered truth. It wasn't an attack. It was a gift. A terrible, beautiful gift. Every soldier in Vex's fleet, every pilot, every gunner, suddenly experienced the consequences of their actions. They felt the terror of the families on the worlds they had bombarded. They felt the pain of the soldiers they had killed. They saw the futures they had extinguished, the love they had turned to ash. They were overwhelmed, not by force, but by a tsunami of empathy. Across the fleet, weapon systems powered down. Pilots wept openly in their cockpits. The will to fight evaporated in an instant of shared, unbearable understanding. Vex screamed as the feedback loop slammed into him. He felt it all. The pain of every life he had ever taken, the suffering he had caused across the galaxy, all concentrated into a single moment. His exosuit fell from the sky, crashing onto the lab floor. He lay there, not dead, but broken, his mind shattered by the weight of his own cruelty. As the echo of our action faded, we stood in the silence, the three of us breathing as one. The power receded. No longer a raging inferno, but a steady, warm glow at the core of our new being. We had not destroyed our enemy. We had shown him the truth. And it had unmade him. A year later, I stood on the balcony of the newly christened Proxima Terran Alliance Embassy. It wasn't on Proxima B or Earth, but on a station we had built. A shimmering testament to unity, positioned exactly where the bridge between our worlds now existed. The title of this script is The Inheritance. We have brought the best script for you. Our team has worked tirelessly to bring this story to life, and we are thrilled to share it with you. We have carefully crafted each scene, each line of dialogue, to create a truly immersive and unforgettable experience. Kaylin and Lyra stood beside me. The bond between us was a constant, comfortable hum, a silent conversation that never ended. We were the bridge, the guardians of a new, fragile peace. My old life on Earth felt like a dream, but it wasn't gone. It was part of the whole, a vital thread in the tapestry of our joined consciousness. "The first human cultural exchange vessel has just crossed the bridge," Lyra said, her blue eyes reflecting the star field. "They are asking for someone to teach them how to make something called deep dish pizza." Kaylin, the brilliant scientist who had once viewed the universe as a cold equation, actually smiled. "The physics of containing that much cheese seems inefficient, but I am willing to study it." I looked from one to the other, my partners, my family, and felt a sense of purpose that the old Paul Foster, the lonely programmer, could never have imagined. The war was over, but the work was just beginning. Building a future between two such different species would be harder than any battle. But we were ready. We were one. If you're excited to see what happens next in the grand cosmic alliance between humanity and the Proximans, and to find out if Kaylin can truly master the physics of cheese, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in our story. Let us know in the comments below what kind of cultural exchange you'd like to see happen next. Until then, keep exploring.